Okay, so I am only given, I think, 15 minutes on this. So we're going to try to get through factoring first. Okay, so there are about 5 ways to factor. Your first way that you want to check always is, does it have a greatest common factor? This is exactly what it sounds like, just a factor that everything is alike. So for example, in 4x to the fourth y plus 8x squared y. So we're going to color code each thing. So we're going to take this part and then this part. Anything separated by like an addition or a minus sign will be like its own piece, essentially. So we have a 4. We have x. Oh, don't know why that did that. X4, and then okay. We'll do red y plus. Oh wait, we don't need plus right now. Sorry. 8 x to the third, and then y. Okay, so 4 is 2 times 2. You want to break it up into its smallest factors. It doesn't have anything smaller than a 2 besides a 1. X, 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 and x. And then that's all multiplied by y. So then 8, you have 2 times 2 times 2 times x times x times x times y. Okay? So now when we look at that, we'll use a highlighter. That's what we'll do. We'll do yellow highlighter. So we have 2 2's. We have 2 2's. So I did not know that was there. So we have for GCF, we have 2 times 2. Then we have 3 x's down here, 3 up there, and it's just what they share. X times x times x, and then they both have 1 y. So that means the GCF, once it's all simplified, would be 4, 2 times 2, is all the like variables, and then y. So it would not be y times y. So sorry, there's only 1 y out of each thing. So there's only 2. So what's left over though, because that's not all. So like if we had to do it, this is the greatest common factor, but when we actually like do a polynomial by factoring, that means this would be in a parenthesis, but we also have a 2 and we have an x left over. So then 2x. So if this was your polynomial, like if this is what you started out, if this is what you started out with, then that means if you needed to find the zeros, you would simply set each of these equal to 0. But that's how you factor from greatest common factor. Okay, so the second one, this is the easiest one probably. Factoring by grouping. So this one is when there are like no like terms. So we have like 5RS, and the variables, you can put any letter in for them and it does not change what it is. So for this, pretty much you're just going to want to look at like this piece as one. That did not change colors. And like this one as one. So we will change to yellow. So we have, what are the common factors in this? Well, 5 is a common factor because 5 goes into 25. And it also has an R, so 5R, so 5, 25, 5 times 5, and then it also has an R. And so then, but S is by itself here. So that means S is left over, and then it's 5 times 5, so that also means that 5 is left over here. So if you were to multiply this, it would be 5R times S, so 5RS, and then plus 5 times 5 is 25, and then there was an R, so that would get you back to where you were. And then we're gonna go and look at this one. So then we have, you can divide these still by like a, oh, that's thick, by a plus sign. So this plus sign is just like, they're all together. So, there is a negative and a negative, which means -1 is a common factor. So you can do this as -1, or you can look at this and see that it's 3 and 15, and so 3 goes into 15 5 times, so you can say -3, and S is only on one side, not the other, so -3, that leaves you with S. And then a positive 15, because remembering our negative rules is a negative times a negative is a positive. So if we take out, and then a negative times a positive is a negative. So -3 times plus 5 is -15, which is what you want. So we have that. Now we can write it out just as like a regular equation. So 5R S plus 5. We can take away that because we don't need it, because plus and negative is just a negative. -3S plus 5. So then you have 5R minus 3. And then S plus 5. And you can do this in either order. And so this pretty much says when you multiply those two together, you're going to get 5RS plus 25R minus 3S minus 15. So, okay. Number 3, the third way, is the sum or difference of squares. So there is a formula that you want to know with this. So we're going to go ahead and write out the formula. So the formula is, oh, this is cubes, not squares, sorry. So the formula is a cubed, and then we're gonna do plus or negative b cubed equals a plus or minus b times a squared. And this time, instead of it being positive, it's going to be negative, positive. AB plus B squared. Okay, so that's a lot. What does that mean? So let's look at an example. X3 plus 8. Well, going back to our formula, that means that this is a squared plus or minus b squared. Well, it's a plus sign, so we're going to know it's a plus sign. So we can look at the reds for all of this. I know I don't have a lot of time left. Okay. So if a squared equals x squared, then that, or cubed, I'm sorry, I keep saying squared, it's cubed. A equals x, okay? Now, what is the cube root of x? Well, 2 times 2 times 2 equals 8. That's 2 cubed, so 2... Sorry, I do not happen there. Okay, so if 2 cubed equals 8, then 2 equals b, because it's just that. Okay, so we know that a equals x, 2 b equals 2. So coming down here, we're going to use the a cubed plus, because that's what this was, a cubed plus b cubed equals a plus b, a squared minus a b plus b squared. So we can now just plug in. So x cubed plus 2 cubed equals x plus 2, x minus 2x plus 2 squared. And so that just, I mean, you can simplify that and say 4, and there's your answer. Like, that's what it is. And then it would be the exact same thing, just you follow, oh gosh, like all of the oranges. If you're, oh, I don't like this. Okay. You can follow all the oranges if you're, if you're doing negative. So like if it's, I don't know, x3 minus 8 instead of like the positive 8, then this sign is going to become a negative. This sign's going to become a negative. Oh wait, no. This sign's going to become a negative, this sign's going to become a negative, and this sign is going to become a positive. So they're just going to switch signs on you. And that's, I mean, that's it for this one. I'm going to have to make a second video for it. But that's okay. All my stuff is messing up. So, in overview real quick, we have the greatest common factor, which is, I need like a, there we go. Okay. I have like a, okay, what the heck? I need like a pointer. I don't know where a pointer's at. Okay. I'll just do it with this. Okay. You have your greatest common factor, which is when you pull out your like terms out of these, and then it turns into that. You have your factoring by grouping, where you look at it and then you figure out your greatest common factors in the small groups. Then you have your sum of difference of cubes, which is whenever you have 2 cubes and you either add, subtract, or subtract, add, depending on your equation, and you follow this formula. So I hope that helps so far. We're going to go over 2 more ways, and then we'll get into the imaginary numbers and the zeros. So